Right, thanks for tuning in. So we're going to be helping you more on 4.1 with our host, Mr. Newbold, the Math Ninja. Huh, Math Ninja. Where'd he go? I don't know. There he is again. Math Ninja. Okay, so we're just helping you. There's number 19. So, ooh, that looks suspicious. Number 20 looks suspicious for maybe a little x equals negative b, little. Plus or minus square root of b squared plus a negative 4ac all over 2a. A little bit of quadratic formula going on that one. Wayo. Okay, this one looks like we could pull out a GCF of just x maybe. So equal to 0. So if we pull out an x, what are we left with? Pause me. You try it on your own. Try them on your own. Pause me. So we're left with, because a 2 can't come out, can it? So a 2, so we have a 2x squared minus 7x minus 15. Set it equal to 0. Ooh, so the question is, does that factor more? Let's give it a try. So that's still one of our factors, which we can already set equal to 0. It's one of our factors. So what does this factor into? What do you think? So 2x and x, right? Factors of 2 are just 2 and 1. Factors of 15 are just 3 and 5. So let's see. Let's do it the other way to show you how you could do it wrong by accident. If I put a 3 and a 5 there, that would be 2x times 3 is 6x. And then 5 times x is 5x. So if you add or subtract those, if you add them, you get 11x. Or if you subtract them, you get 1x. Or if you subtract a negative 1x, which does not equal negative 7x, the middle term. So then we have to try again, right? We have to try again. And so that means we're going to have to go ahead and switch those around. Just the 5 and the 3, switch them around. So if we switch those around and put the 5 at this end, that might be better. Let's take a look. Guess and check. Guess and check method. Guess and check. So we put a 3 here. So 5 times 2 is 10x. And 3 times x is 3x. Ooh, and the sign of the middle term, if it goes with a bigger number, that's going to give us negative 7x. So that's going to be a negative 5 times 2 is negative 10 plus 3. Wayo. So now we just have to set those equal to 0. Set them equal to 0. So we'll set those equal to 0. We'll add 5 to the other side. So we get x equals 5. Okay, here's the tricky one. Here's the tricky one. So we have to minus the 3 to the other side. But we still have that. What do we do with that 2? Do you remember? We're solving for x right now. What do we do with that 2? So we are going to divide it to the other side. And so we get negative 3 halves is what we get there. Negative 1.5 or negative 3 halves. As well as 0, as well as x equals 5. So 3 answers, 3 factors, 3 x-intercepts. Wayo. Okay, so here, find the x-intercepts to the following. Remember, x-intercepts is written as ordered pairs. They want you to do ordered pairs. And then x-intercepts and real numbers are real numbers, but not imaginary. So there's no imaginary ordered pairs. There's no imaginary ordered pairs, right? So try factor by grouping, try the quadratic formula, right? Try regular factoring. So we're going to draw a line down the middle and pull out the GCF. Pull out the GCF. You pull out the GCF. No, you pull out the GCF. No, that's your job. You're the student learning. So we'll go ahead and pull out an x squared there that they have in common. So we're left with just x plus 3. So we want this side to also be an x plus 3, but they're both negative. So what do? Well, if we pull out the negative, they'll both be positive. So why don't we'll go ahead and pull out a negative 25 and see what we have there. So if we pull out a negative 25, pull out a negative 25, those cancel, leaving out those x plus 75 divided by 25. Negative is a positive, so plus 3. Wheyo! So now we have an x plus 3 as one of our factors, and whatever's left is our other factor. Wheyo! Okay, there we go. So we can factor it more, set them equal to 0, whatever you like there. I'm going to factor it more because I do know that this is a difference of squares. So that's going to factor into x and x, 5 and 5. It's going to be negative and positive. So then we have 3 x-intercepts. We have x equals negative 3, positive 5, and negative 5. Change the signs when they come out of the parentheses. Now we do have to write them now as ordered pairs. So then our ordered pairs is going to be negative 3 comma 0. We're going to have, and what else are we going to have? We're going to have 5 comma 0. And we're going to have negative 5 comma 0. And so there's our answers there. There's our answers there. So something else I noticed for number 24 that I wanted to talk about. First try it on your own. Pause me, serious. I don't usually do an even. So pause me. Let's see. So set it equal to 0. Good. Set it equal to 0. So this is going to go ahead and factor into x squared and x squared, as well as 4 times 4 is 16. Because that factors like that, and this factors there. No middle terms, so negative and positive. Good. So they do want us to list, right, the x-intercepts, but then also do ordered pairs. And so I'm going to ask for both on the homework. And so we have to set these each equal to 0. And when you do that, and you add 4 to the other side, you could have factored that one actually. It'll still work though. So you get x squared equals 4. And then when you square root both sides, you get x equals a positive 2 as well as a negative 2. So x equals positive negative 2. So those are real. So they'll have the ordered pair 2 comma 0 as well as negative 2 comma 0. Right? For the x-intercepts and the zeros. But also, so that's going to be, but also over here you could minus 4 to the other side. And you get x squared equals negative 4. And if you square root both sides, you get x equals plus or minus 2i. So these are the x-intercepts, I guess you could say, because it's got a 0 in there. X-intercepts. Intercepts are ordered pairs, which is different than just finding the zeros. I mean, I don't know. They're both finding the ordered pairs and zeros. So this is our answer. But then then these two right here would be, what would those be? So intercepts are written as ordered pairs, and intercepts are real numbers, not imaginary. Yeah. So I mean, these are still considered solving. Like that's our, we solve for x. And so what did you get when you solve for x? You probably list all that, but then the final answer would just be the x-intercepts, right? Cool. Okay, so then, whoa, in a parallelogram ABCD, BD is diagonal, is a diagonal. ADB is 35 degrees, and the measure of BCD is 50 degrees. What is the measure of DBA? So DBA, so I want you to find that measurement. Well, what do you know about parallelograms? Can you remember anything about parallelograms? Can you remember anything about parallelograms? Well, if this is a straight line, right, and this is a straight line, then, let's see, alternate interior angles are congruent. Alternate interior angles are congruent. So that means that if this whole thing is 180, which it is, and you minus 50, you should get 30 degrees. So up here should be 30 degrees. And so that's the alternate interior angles are congruent? I don't know. Interesting. Let's think about that one a bit longer. It's not a right angle. We don't know that for sure. No. Ooh, what we do know, let's see. So if we could figure out that angle, I was going to say that'll help us with the triangle. So let's see. So I'm thinking, yeah, so if that's 30 degrees, that doesn't matter so much because this is a diagonal and it's basically a square that's been shifted, right? It's been shifted. And so they're both using this point and this point. They're both like sharing that. They're both sharing that line, which means the angles should also match up as well, because it's still it's a parallelogram. And so then if we do add those together, we get 85 degrees. And so then we have to do 180 degrees, right, minus our 85 degrees. And so if we minus those together, 180 minus 85, what do we get? We get 95 degrees. Way-oh, 95 degrees. We just had to remember that those two angles were congruent, and that is D. Woo! Nice. So the number n is located at 1.5 on the number line below. One of the following number lines shows the location of n squared. Number n is located at negative 1.5. Okay, so they're asking us to take negative 1.5. I think negative 1.5 and square it, right? So what is negative 1.5 times negative 1.5? Use parentheses and square it. So we get 2.25. So which one of those on the number line is 2.25? So 2.25 would be a 2 and a little tiny bit. So we're thinking that it's D. It is. Way-oh. All right, thanks for watching. See you at 4.2. Thanks for watching. And keep on trying your best. You got this. Evens, submit on Canvas, and then turn the whole thing into me. Way-oh. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Math Ninja! Bye.